Actually, being lazy is a superpower when it comes to getting things done. But of course, you wouldn't know that because you're always struggling and trying to use productivity tips that is for the super disciplined people. Like, sis, you're literally setting yourself up for failure using majority of the things that people tell you to do. But in today's video, I'm going to tell you the 3 things that you should be doing instead to use your laziness to your advantage. So laziness definitely can be used to your advantage. It was Bill Gates. You're probably familiar with the guy. He's one of the richest men on earth. So he basically says he will always give a hard job to a lazy person because they're always going to find an easy way to do it. Even though they always give him credit for this quote, it actually came from a study that was done in the 1920s on bricklayers, where they found that the lazy employees always find the most efficient, easiest, fastest way to get complicated tasks done. So if you are lazy, I'm here to tell you today that you can use your laziness to get more done, even more done than the super disciplined 5 a.m. people. Yes, it is possible. So that's what this video is going to be today. By the way, I'm Tabia Wagwan. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Let's get into it. First thing you must understand about yourself as a person that is very lazy is that you need the stakes to be really high before you do the simplest of tasks. So it must be the night before the exam before you start studying. You must have like one outfit left before you go and do laundry. You must go into the fridge and realize, oh my gosh, there's literally nothing here to eat before you go and get groceries. So you see what I'm saying, right? Every lazy person can relate. Like, you don't respond to what you should do. You respond to what you are forced to do because you have no other option. So the reason behind all of this basically is that your brain doesn't respond to priorities, right? It's not about what's important to you. Your brain, as a lazy person, it responds to urgency. What must I do? Or there will be some serious drastic consequences like failing my exam or not having anything at all to wear, right? So you respond to urgency and consequences, not priorities. It doesn't matter how something is important to you. You will not clock that, okay? You only clock the things that there will be consequences if you don't do it now. I want to now dive deeper into the psychology part of it so that when I present the solution, you understand why it is a solution. So on a subconscious level, what's actually happening is that you are programmed to run on survival mode, because when you're lazy, you're using your sympathetic nervous system to get simple tasks done. So your sympathetic nervous system is basically your fight or flight system, right? And God put that in you to help you to survive if there is ever danger in your environment, right? So when you operate with your sympathetic nervous system, it gives you abilities that you wouldn't have under normal circumstances. And what you're doing is, when there is no danger, you are using your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight system, once again, to do things like respond to a text, to submit assignments. You're using this system that's supposed to help you to survive like a lion attack to basically respond to a text, right? So you're abusing this part of your nervous system. Let's put it this way. Let's say, for instance, you're laying in your bed and your alarm went off. The same one you keep hitting snooze for the past 30 days, year, I don't know. So you set your alarm and every time it goes off, you hit snooze, right? You're saying, I'm tired, health is wealth. I need to be rested, soft life era. And you're just there thinking you're so tired. I said thinking, the Jamaican accent. So you're just there thinking that you're so tired and you can't move. But next thing you know, you feel something crawling on the bed and you're like, what is that? You peeped it. It's a spider, not one of the regular spiders. Like, what do you call them? Tarantula, however it's pronounced. So you see, it's one of those spiders, like 12 eyes, big, black and eerie on the bed. Girl, it doesn't matter how tired you are. That thing that God put in you is going to get activated. And if you're a flight person, you're going to tear down that entire, you would get up out of that bed so fast. The same you that was like, I couldn't get it done. I can't get up. Oh, I'm so tired. You wouldn't even remember how to say the word tired. Tired would be the furthest thing from your mind because of your nervous system is kicking in to help you to do something you couldn't do under normal circumstances. So when you see the spider, if you're a flight person, you're going to run. Okay. You're going to be Usain Bolt out that room. If you're a fighter, you're going to beat that spider to death, basically. So it's all about survival. And this is what you're using, sis, to wash your dishes. This is what you're using to send a text. This is what you're using to do your laundry. This is what you're using to go get milk. So a second layer, if you look deep enough into laziness, is that when you put yourself in these high pressure, high stakes situation and your nervous system kicks in and help you to successfully maneuver what it is that you're doing, your body now, like the enemy, starts to reward you with this feel good hormone called dopamine. So now you feel rewarded. I'm so skilled. I got that homework done in just, a few hours, 3 hours. Like I remember this time earlier in my college years when I came from work after 9 and my essay was due 11:59. I came home. I was still in my work clothes. I started writing, hand it in. I got 90%. Now, I'm not unfamiliar with 90%, but I remember that one because I did it under such time constraint that I'm like, wow, like really, I got 90s with that little time. So that is what, when you're lazy, those kind of things can happen to you where you're addicted to this dopamine and reward that you feel. It's like playing a video game. Like you don't really get much feel good hormone from playing a video game on easy mode, but as it's getting harder and faster, or however the video games is today, I don't really play games. I play Heyday, which is a little farm game, and it's been a while. So when you're playing game on easy mode, you don't feel that reward. You don't get that same release of hormone, right? But when the stakes are high, which is what I keep trying to emphasize, you will feel so good. You'll feel so rewarded, so accomplished. Like, wow, like your self-esteem is going up. Like instead of feeling bad, you're like, wow, like you had such little time. It's the night before the exam and you just memorize all that and you pass. Like you just had 2 hours to get the homework in and you did it and passed with 95. Like you're a goat. That's what your self does to you. So you're addicted to this high subconsciously. This is not something that's running in your conscious mind. This is just your programming in the background. That's why some people will walk around and pride themselves on, I work well under pressure. No, sis, you're abusing the sympathetic nervous system that God gave you to survive. And by the way, speaking of school, I want you guys to help me to celebrate. So I am now on presidential honor roll at my school. I'm in a bachelor's of science nursing program. Yeah, so I got a 4.0 GPA and that put me on the presidential honor roll. And I just want you guys to know, because this is my first video after being away for some time, because I had to really focus on school. So if you don't see me on here, it's not because I'm out there wasting my life or being inconsistent or being lazy. No, the tea is, sis is actually in them books. Sis is studying, sis is doing assignments. Okay, right now school is my highest priority, so I'm trying to finish strong, and so far my hard work had paid off, thank God. But as a result, my YouTube suffered last semester. So I'm going to try to even post if it's even bi-weekly, because a lot of you guys, you seem to really like my videos. And the fact that you guys are telling me you like the videos and I should keep them coming, it put me under good pressure to want to post, to want to show up for you guys. So yeah, back to business. Now you understand what's going on in your brain, in your body, why you're so lazy, why you wait last minute, all these things. I'm going to now go into the solution aspect of this video. And by the way, make sure you subscribe, because this is going to be video 1. There's going to be a part 2. So as a lazy girl, one of the solutions you could do is to create fake urgency, because you know that you already respond to that rush, right? So you have to create fake rush for yourself. One of the ways to do this is to create intrinsic deadlines, meaning personal deadlines that come from you. So if your school tells you you have until the 27th to hand in the assignment, you set a goal and a deadline for it and a due date, that's for the 10th. That's your intrinsic deadline. So you don't really necessarily work off of the external deadlines, you work off of the internal deadlines. So if your job tells you you have 2 weeks to do this thing, you do it in 1 week, right? So you're cutting down the time available to do a task by giving the task your own deadline. So it doesn't matter what the school says, your job says, what this person says, what that person says, you're going to do it ahead of time and work off of your personal deadline. Okay, so basically your fridge could say, sis, you have like 5 more days before you really have to go to the supermarket, but your intrinsic deadline says no, it's today at 2 p.m. Your closet can say, sis, actually you have 10 good outfits in here, like you don't have to do laundry for real until like maybe another week or 2. But your intrinsic deadline says no, today is the day that the laundry gets done. Now here's a little issue with that. You won't honor your intrinsic deadline, or else you make make it very real for yourself. So how you lock this intrinsic deadline into your head is putting the task that you have on a calendar, or putting it on a to-do list, or even a piece of paper, right? It doesn't matter. Y'all know by now that I use Notion, and I made the template available to you guys, and you know where to find it already, so I won't go into that. You want to put it somewhere where you can see it physically. Don't have it in your head like, oh, I'm gonna do this Sunday, that's my intrinsic deadline. Girl, you're not gonna do nothing. Okay, you have to make it real. Put it on something. Plan out the entire week and look at it and be like, okay, Monday, this is what should be done. Tuesday, right? So you need something very physical that you can see and commit to. And one thing I want to say, if you have to choose between a yearly, monthly, weekly, or daily to-do list, just remember a daily to-do list is the greatest of them all. Okay, the king or queen of the to-do lists is the one that is daily. Okay, when I say the daily to-do list is greater, I mean it is more impactful statistically. So people that master the days, or is very focused on winning each day, they end up winning the year by a landslide, comparing to people who view the year in bigger chunks. Because right now, girls, subconsciously, when it comes to your goals, your deadline is actually December the 31st. You don't have a problem for it to be November, September, October, and you haven't done a thing and you haven't accomplished a thing. You don't got a problem, because at the end of the day, it's when you see December that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to reinvent my life. I need to rebrand. I need to Girl, you need higher deadlines. And if you haven't watched my video that's about 12 weeks, not 12 months, you need to watch it, because in that video I really emphasize why you should be setting goals in 12-week chunks out of the year. So every 12 week, go watch it. Why is my camera blinking? Girl, I'm not even done. Like, my camera just overheated. I'm back now though. Yeah, so when you tell yourself that I am going to go to the gym this week, I'm going to do content this week, I'm going to do laundry this week, I'm going to meal prep this week, what ends up happening is that you keep saying tomorrow, because at the end of the day, Monday's this week, Tuesday's this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So you just keep pushing stuff off because you said this week is a deadline, right? And it's still this week. In fact, it's only Wednesday, right? So you're going to keep putting things off when you give yourself the entire week to do something, or say, I'll do it this week. When you have intrinsic deadline and you say Monday is for content, Tuesday is for assignments, Wednesday is for laundry and meal prepping. So your subconscious mind is really the one running the show, right? So when you have put on a calendar, write it down, do something to reinforce to your brain that this is real, this is the deadline, what's going to happen is you're no longer going to see the entire week available to do content. You're just going to say, okay, Monday's content. You're not going to see the entire week to meal prep. You're going to say Wednesday is to meal prep, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So you're actually getting things done because you're reframing the deadlines in your mind internally. So other people or external due dates might come from all over the place. Everyone is gonna be saying December the 31st is when they check in with their goals. They're giving themselves the entire year to achieve certain things. But when you start to create your own deadlines, you'll notice that you get a lot more done. I call it intrinsic deadline because it's coming from within, not without. But I said without. Within, not without. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. So if you didn't assign the task to specific days out of the week, what's going to happen is on Saturday or Sunday, when your fight or flight system, the sympathetic system, which we talked about earlier, okay, hope you're remembering, right? That's going to kick in on Saturday, and you're going to try to do content on Saturday and Sunday, right? You're going to try and put laundry, meal prep, everything you're going to try and do on the weekend because you said this week, right? So it is very important, sis or bro, for you to say to your brain, Monday, this is what I do, Tuesday, this is what I do, Wednesday, and so forth, so that you don't see the entire week as time for you to get into urgency mode, right? So by the time you're at 3 p.m. on a Monday, your nervous system start going off like, sis, you said you were going to do this on Monday, right? Or if you gave it a specific time, when it's about to be 10 a.m., you're like, sis, you said you're going to do this on 10 a.m. So the panic starts, not at the end of the week, but at the beginning of the week. So I hope you see how this works with your brain and how you're wired when you're lazy, because you only respond to urgency, so you create fake urgency, right? So that is one of the solutions. Let's move on. The other thing we talked about is that you like to gamify life, right? Your body rewards you when you do things last minute and you successfully maneuver it. So how do we replace that part? So we know how to create the fake urgency, but how do we get the gamified part, right? It's not a new concept I'm going to talk about on this channel, but I must say it because it ties into this topic. And not everyone watch all my videos. So it is self-scoring, right? So you can gamify things by scoring yourself, right? So every week, like especially if you guys watch the video I told you guys to watch, 12 weeks, not 12 months, you would see more in-depthly what I mean when I say score yourself. So basically at the end of each week, you would give yourself a score based on how productive you had been. Sis, make use of ticking stuff. Like you love to tick stuff off. Trust me on this. Like if you create a little list and put some boxes on there and you start checking stuff off, you're going to have this animalistic instinct to just finish. You just want to see all the boxes ticked, right? And if you want to take this up another notch, you would use something like Notion, like what I use. And as you're ticking stuff off throughout the week, you're getting a score. You're at 20%, 50%, 80%, right? And my goal each week is to get 80% or higher because it is statistically said that people who get at least 80% of their to-do list done, they end up having much successful year, right? So I aim for 80% or higher. Okay, because not every day is going to go the way you plan it, sis. But you want to score yourself. And I use progress bars, okay? I use countdown to help reinforce the urgency part. So if I have 5 days left to do a task, when I look at the task, I can see due today, 5 days left, 20 days left. And I also do that with things like my goals, right? So I can see for this goal, you have 15 days left, 20 days left. So I'm working not necessarily under constant pressure. Like it's not a pressure like when you know the year is closing and you haven't done a thing, or you know exam is tomorrow and you don't know a thing. It's a different kind of pressure. It's a good pressure, right? So you're not just lazying around, moping around, and then when you're about to become a casualty, that's when your common sense picks up. Okay. It's a good kind of pressure, right? This is how you gamify it, right? You're scoring yourself, you're using progress bars and all these things. And Notion is one way to do it. It's one of the only ways I know to do it, but I'm pretty sure there's other places and other apps and stuff you can use, but Notion is how I personally do it. And I have a tour where you can watch how my entire system is set up. Okay. It's on my channel. The thumbnail is going to be here. So yeah, this is how you make it more real, because just walking around in your mind saying I'm going to do this and that, sis, it's not going to work. Okay. You have to make it real. All the timers, progress bar, the boxes, all these things, it will reinforce that this is a real thing happening now, right? Like it looks serious. Now you could do this with pen and paper, but you won't have like the progress bar and the countdowns and 2 days to go, 3 days to go. That's why I like Notion. But do what works for you and start however you can, even if it's a clean sheet of paper, even if it's like to put something on your fridge, on your wall, on your to-do list, you know, just do something. Just don't walk away from this video and do absolutely nothing with the information that you're getting. Like you spend all this time on the video, you might as well try what I'm saying, right? I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, because even a number of you downloaded my Notion template because I made my Notion template available to you guys. And I know from experience that you can have Notion templates and still not use them because it's the laziness in you, right? When you're truly lazy, like even the things that's supposed to help you with your laziness, you'll be too lazy to do it. But what I found as a solution in my own personal life is that have specific time that I check in with my Notion template. Don't say I'm going to check in today, right? So you can say after breakfast every day, I check my Notion template, or every day before I start to get ready for work, I check my Notion template, or when I'm at lunch at work, I check my Notion template. So you want to have specific times, at least to check in, one early in the day and one late in the night, just so that you're actually ticking stuff off. And in the morning, so you can actually see what's going on. The other aspect to this is have it on your phone, like having your to-do list or whatever on your phone, even if it's your notes app, that would be great. Notion is also on your phone. That's why I like it. I can pull out my Notion calendar right now and pull up my Notion to-do list. There's a lot of stuff in there. My system is a bit complex, but make sure that you check in at least 2 times per day. So even if you're someone who already have my template, I know there's a good chance you're probably not using it, right? Because you keep telling yourself, I'm going to check it. You have to have like rituals, daily rituals, where you know that, okay, in the morning, this is what I do. Or maybe before I even get out of my room to brush my teeth, I will check my Notion template. Personally, that's not what I do. I do a lot of things before I check in because I have like a 3-4 step morning routine. I don't even know at this point. before I get to Notion, but this, what I'm telling you, it really helped me. So the point of this video is not that I'm putting you on to Notion, sis. If that's what you got out of this, nope, that's not what I'm saying. Take the principles and find whatever platform, whatever thing that works for you. The point is, you are lazy and you work with urgency. You don't respond to priority, you respond to urgency. You need the stakes to be high and you need to gamify life so that you can get some form of dopamine hit, which you are addicted to at this point. So that is all I'm saying to you, right? And I just gave you guys ways how I do it. I have way more to say on this topic, but this video it should end here. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this one if you liked it, or even leave a comment, and make sure you come back for part 2. It will not say part 2, sis, but it will be something around laziness or productivity, okay? So make sure you come back for that video. Bye.